And we're continuing our coverage of Hurricane Tomas out of Grand Turk. Right now with me is Mr. Jamal Robinson, who is the Director of the Department of Disaster Management and Emergencies. My first question, Jamal, is how prepared is disaster management team for Hurricane Tomas?
I think the disaster management team is very prepared. And for persons who may not know, it's not just the personnel within the Department of Disaster Management and Emergencies. It's basically a number of persons across the country, including the DCs, the Office and Provo, EMS, as well as environmental health, police, and a number of other government agencies, in addition to the Red Cross and other service clubs. We've done all the preparations we can thus far. We've opened our shelters since 10 o'clock this morning, the selected ones that we've chosen across the country. So far, there hasn't been that much persons taking up the shelters as yet. I guess they're waiting for conditions to change a bit, but the EMS has already cleared up all the drains, tested pumps, because we're looking at flooding being the main issue coming out of Hurricane Thomas. In addition to the police going into varying areas to let persons know who are in low-lying areas that the shelters are open, which ones they can go to, and basically to be safe.
Okay, do you consider Hurricane Tomas just being a Category 1 storm, a major risk to us here in the Turks and Caicos?
Well, it will be a risk in terms of more on the flooding side of things, because we're expecting somewhere between 3 to 6 inches of rainfall on various parts of the country, more so to the western end, Providenciales, North Caicos, Middle Caicos, and less so on the eastern, middle to eastern end with South Caicos, Sauk, Grand Turk. But given the storm can intensify, obviously, in addition to if it shifts from the current track, which is north-northeast, which is heading now, if it turns to northeast, which it was originally, then it will bring a greater chance of higher wind field. So persons who would have, I guess, less sound structures that they may be living in, they could receive some damage. But all in all, based on, I guess, the country's building code, a Category 1 of this nature doesn't pose a great threat, but persons should still take it serious, because anything can happen between this newscast and the passage of Hurricane Tomas.
Okay, and finally, Mr. Robinson, can you give us the latest or general update on Tomas?
Well, the latest is since the 3 o'clock advisory, which was given to us by the Bahamas Met office, is that Tomas is about, I think, it's 173 miles, if I'm not mistaken, southwest of Providenciales right now, packing winds of about 85 miles per hour, and hurricane force winds extend outward some 15 miles, which isn't big given the size of the overall hurricane, and tropical storm force winds extend out some 120 miles. But also, in terms of the storm and its passing Turks and Caicos itself, Providenciales can expect some tropical storm force winds about 5 o'clock this afternoon, and going into about from 5 o'clock this afternoon and into Saturday morning, it will be weak tropical storm force winds, in addition to stronger tropical storm force winds, i.e. 39 miles per hour to 73 miles per hour. But in this instance, should the storm vary more towards the east, as I mentioned earlier, it can pick up. Providenciales could be affected by Category 1 hurricane force winds up to 100 miles per hour. But for the rest of the country, like in Grand Turk, who is farther east, we'll expect to feel tropical storm force winds on around 9 p.m. tonight. And the range for Grand Turk, given that we're so far away from the eye of the storm, so to speak, it will be about 39 to 45 miles per hour. So Grand Turk is a lot safer, so to speak, in terms of wind speed compared to Providenciales to our west and our West Caicos. But in terms of rainfall, it's possible for all of us to be in the 3 to 6 inch rain band, so to speak. So that's the latest information we have from the Bahamas Met Office.
Okay, thanks so much, Jamal. And of course, News 4 will continue to bring you updates out of Grand Turk on the hour. For WIV4 News, reporting out of the nation's capital, I'm Takara Bain.